Hello everyone, my name is Daniel, I'm just a casual racer, and today we're in Rennsport. It's the open beta. This game is now freely available for everyone, so you can check it out on the Epic Games Store. I know some people don't like Epic, it's whatever, I'm fine with it. But, right, free-to-play model. It's like Rennsport, but a little bit more like Call of Duty in some ways. Like, see the flashy gold, platinum, diamond. We got a lot of different things under here. We got dynamic liveries, static liveries, founders badges. Like, we got a lot of stuff going on here, right? This is not bad. This is cool. We don't want things to be done exactly the same. This also appeals to more of the modern way of doing it. And the rest of the game, most of it's free. You know, let's just take a quick look here at the, there we go. Look at the tracks, right? One track right now is you have to pay for. And of all the tracks, this is the Nürburgring. Yes, I get it. $20 to just get the Nürburgring. That's a lot. You do supposedly get another car in the future. You can use a token towards that. But ultimately, it's a track that a lot of people like. I'm not the biggest fan of the Nordschleife layout myself, so I probably won't be getting this unless Rennsport decides to send me a copy. But yeah, I mean, overall right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tracks. So 10 tracks, all for free. Right, we got classics, they've been in the game for a while, and then we got newer tracks like Daytona, Fuji, Goodwood's in it, Road Atlanta, got a couple mod tracks. It's not the greatest lineup of tracks, but when you look at something like Le Mans Ultimate, it's actually got a few more tracks, I believe, than that title. A lot of these new games, right, it's more about they're trying to focus on getting the physics lined up, because licenses, content like this stuff can be quite expensive to do. People ask, like, why don't they have more games? A lot of it has to do with licensing. I mean, yes, development's hard as well, but this game's been in development for like, what, 2.5 years, 2 years at least. There's been plenty of time. I think a lot of this has to do with pricing cost, and also just trying to focus on developing the physics. If we look at the cars here, we have, the GT3 cars, but then we also have the touring cars, which I checked out in one of my last videos, and they're really good, still good. GT4 cars, I quite like them. The BMW is my favorite. Audi is a little bit understeer. I like the two hypercars. I actually think they drive really nicely. We have a Mission R electric car. We have Praga. Like, it's not the biggest selection of cars, but like if you compare it against Assetto Corsa Competizione, and also if you compare this entire game against Assetto Corsa Competizione when it launched into early access, this has almost the same amount of tracks, and it has as many cars and more car classes. So in a way, it's free, and you're getting almost as much content as Le Mans Ultimate, as Assetto Corsa Competizione when it released. Like, I don't know where the complaining can be. And sure, totally call me biased if you want to. I am a modding insider. They flew me to Germany, that whole thing. So if you want to say I'm biased, put it down in the comment. I don't care. I mean, I totally understand why you would say that. But at the end of the day, there are things about this game, like, it's free to play. Try it. If you don't like it, don't play it anymore. I don't know what else you can ask for. It's got the content, like I said, Le Mans Ultimate for free. Like, that's pretty cool. I will say, yeah, the game's taken forever to work. We're going to jump in here. I'm going to show you Daytona. I'll try out the BMW hypercar for you guys. But, like, this game, right? It's one of those things where there's so little to worry about on your guys' end, and I don't get why people are so upset. And they see, like, the Founders Pack for $70 or whatever. That's optional. That's only if you like the game or whatever. And I'll be honest, I'm not too sure I would get the $70 pack. I think I would definitely probably look at the $20 pack. If I really wanted the Nordschleife, I really like the game, get the $20 pack. You'll help support the development. I'm sure you'll get $20 worth of enjoyment out of the game. Like, I think you'll have that happen. So, if you like it, right? Like, if you're going to spend a few weekends, if you're going to race with some friends a few times, if you enjoy, the online aspect. That's where I'm going to get into one downside, right? I'm not racing against any AI, because the game doesn't have AI. And that is a huge downside for me. I mean, I actually reasonably like the way the game drives. It drives somewhere between like a Le Mans Ultimate, R Factor 2, and Assetto Corsa Competizione, which I would say ACC is a bit stiff, and R Factor 2, Le Mans Ultimate, I really like the driving style. Probably my favorite driving model, maybe more so just because it's really great force feedback. But this is in between there, and it's not bad. Of course, the physics have always been pretty good. I said this in the very first video I did months ago, almost a year ago actually. The force feedback was pretty terrible and was holding the game back. And I will say, to give competition companies team credit, they have worked their butts off and the force feedback is improved. Now, improving the force feedback, adding a couple of more cars and tracks over the course of a year, it's there is, like, why couldn't they have done more in the time span? And I think that's a legitimate question. I may be an insider, but they keep me in the dark about as much as you. I don't get in updates any sooner than you guys do for the game. Yeah, so unfortunately, and I wish, like, you bring on consultants, right? You would think you'd lean on those. You bring on mod teams and, you know, support studios. You'd think you'd help them make more content for you. Yeah, communication is Rennsport's biggest weakness. And I don't know if it's that way with every studio or every person, but I often get left feeling really, I guess, confused. I don't want to say sad, because I'm kind of used to it. But it's just confusing, to be honest. It's like, why did they ever bring us on board if you're not going to use this to help make your game better? Like, yeah. This track's great. I mean, we got the classic right. We got Unreal Engine. Assetto Corsa Competizione has the same issue. You got a lot of loading in. You got the weird, see the screen on the edge of the track. It just how these games look. Unreal Engine is not the best for high-speed moving of user, player character, which is essentially a car in this case, because the loading in and you start getting these artifacts, anti-aliasing, I don't know what you're all getting exactly, but generally, when you're standing still or moving slowly, the Unreal Engine looks amazing. The faster you go, the worse it starts to look. And unfortunately, that's just how it is. I don't know if there's anything that they're going to be able to do, the dev team's going to be able to do to fix that. They don't have triple screens right now. That's kind of an issue. Not a huge thing for me. I do single, but I also like my setup is triples. I'm not a VR person. I can't really stand VR. Whereas me, it's actually not even getting sick. It's just I don't like VR. It's kind of weird. It's just sweaty, and I don't find myself racing as much. Then I do a lot of programming to develop mods for Story Sim Studios on Authentic Simulation, and then whoever else I'm doing consulting on the side for. And yeah, I don't want to use a VR headset. So yeah, it has VR support. That's great. I've heard it works maybe marginally better than when it works. I guess it's a little buggy, but when it works, it's marginally better than Assetto Corsa Competizione. So maybe there's some hope with VR and Unreal Engine. But yeah, they really got to get triple monitor support, and hopefully that will come soon in one of the next updates. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, this track, great. The road meshes details feel really quite good. Like I said, force feedback has made a big improvement. I wouldn't say it's the best out there, but it's definitely as good as most. You know, so definitely good enough, and definitely tells me everything I need to know, and I don't even notice it after I'm quickly driving, which to me is all I need from force feedback. I don't need to realize that I'm in force feedback. I just need to feel connected to the car, which Rennsport does that good enough. So, yep. All right. So let's jump into the main menu here. All right. We'll check out one more. I don't know why I keep going this menu. Let's check out one more track here. Goodwood. Call it a day in this preview, but like I said, should we try an electric car? I don't really want to do electric car. I've tried everything else though, I think. Since I don't want to do electric car, let's just do the Porsche. And here we go. Waiting for countdown. Oh, yeah. I don't think this actually starts here. Got to do the time trial, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe I don't know what I'm doing, but... Yeah, and Goodwood, I mean, this is one of those things where, like, for me, with Historic Sim Studios, I'm, like, chomping at the bit. Let's get some historic content in this game, right? We got Goodwood here. Let me put some mods in the game, you know, some community content in the game, or whatever, so... We'll see. We'll see if they're interested in that at some point. Almost dove too deep there. Got this ghost card. It's kind of annoying, actually. Probably turn that off, but... Yeah, Goodwood looks pretty nice. Hell here. Oof. And there we go. So that's the Rennsport game. It's been updated. Yeah, I mean, I know some people say the menus are kind of boring. They work well enough. I mean, you do have a lot of room here, but I see they're going to probably use this for space, like ads or promotions, maybe even big events. So it's fine. You could make this stuff a little flashier, perhaps, but overall, this UI is the least of their problems, and for now, it's good enough. They can totally leave the UI alone. Number one priorities. For me, they need to get AI. That is a huge thing that they need to do. I also think, right, they have some GT3 cars, GT4 cars. I would love it if when they add the AI, they would add a custom championship or something like that. That would be fantastic, and hopefully that's something they look at doing. Something like Automobilista 2 does. I think they do a great job with their custom championships. I know Assetto Corsa has that as well, but something where you could just create, I mean, you got few different tracks now. You could easily, you know, Monza, Daytona. You could put together 4, 5, 6. I mean, technically even like a 10 race championship and run that, and it would be a lot of fun in, you know, and you could even do multi-class with the way this is, especially having GT4, Hypercar, and GT3 racing. Like, you're practically there with the main classes that people want to race. So yeah, I think it's more about, for me, adding AI and then custom championships where you have points and stuff like that. It would also be cool if you could do custom championships within the game and then use it online. So it'd be great for both, actually. Like for your league settings, like leagues. I'm not 100% sure how this even works with points and things like that, but it'd be really cool to expand that in whatever way. And of course, add the AI. In addition to all of that, of course, then the second biggest thing I think is adding some additional content. Sure, some additional cars would be great, but definitely the track side of things would be really cool. I also think, right, when you look at the content that they have in Rennsport, they don't need more content out of this. If, you know, if we got another electric car, I guess, to go with the Porsche Mission R, that'd probably be better than adding another new class. If you have another hypercar, add another hypercar, add another GT3 car, add another GT3 car, add another GT4 car, add another GT4 car. Like, stick within the classes you have here and expand this. I really like the idea to get these touring cars. Lean into that and, you know, add another touring car. I think this is where they should go. Stick with what they have, expand this a bit. Maybe add one car to each class. You know, and like I said, Mission R, Praga, those might be a little more difficult, but add a car to maybe each of those classes if you can find it, and actually make them like a class. You know, you have like electric class, and you have like a, you know, a high downforce club track class. Anyways, there's a lot of cool things that Rennsport could do without adding too much more content, and I think they're all right. The track side of things, obviously, I think is one area where they really could beef it up. You know, the more, if you have a lot of different tracks, that will really make it feel more alive. And I really think it'll also contrast with some of the other offerings like Le Mans Ultimate, which doesn't have a lot of tracks in that game, and really could. And also too, like, they got this great mod track. It'd be fantastic if they could bring some more really high quality, community content, mix it in, and 2 or 3 good licensed tracks. And I'm just trying to think here, some good options. Laguna Seca's a great option. You could always go after a track like slipping my mind, Interlagos in Brazil. I mean, that's always a great track. Yeah, I would look at something like that. Get 2 or 3 more official tracks, maybe 2 or 3 mod tracks, and this would be looking really good. And then if you add like 1 car to each class on the other side, boom, this is looking pretty great. And we're talking about for something that's free to play, entirely free. I mean, you can't have a lot of critiques. Yeah. So overall, I'm pretty positive on Rennsport, actually. Just because you're not paying anything to play it. So download it, try it, decide for yourself. There's enough content here that you can definitely get the feel for what the game is going to be like across a lot of different cars, a lot of different tracks, and you can decide if you want to purchase one of those packs. My recommendation would be probably this. Unless you really want the car, I suppose, then maybe you consider doing $40. But to me, like I said, it's a car in its own class. I just don't have, it's like a unlimited GT3 car. To me, that's just not that appealing. So I would definitely probably look at getting the gold pack if I was going to get anything. And maybe you fall in love and you're like, I'll buy $70. I'm all in. But that's up to you. I overall think it's a pretty fair setup the way they've got it. I hope they start being more transparent on the communication side of things, both with modders and with the community. That'd be awesome. And of course, just a little bit more content would be great. So, oh, and AI, that'd be great as well. So just a quick preview. My full review will be probably out sometime early next week. It's not going to be a super long review since this is still an open beta period. And I'll be reviewing it as an open beta. But I do like to give kind of a review, a point of comparison that you can either look back on and just see, okay, how far has this actually progressed from my last time I reviewed it when, it was in closed beta. Now I'm going to review it as open beta, and then eventually when it has its full release, we'll have another review then. So, generally, I think this game has potential. We'll just see. I mean, it's got challengers coming too, so I mean, obviously not take that in consideration in the review, but it definitely has to try to stand out from the pack. And as I continue to explore this game over the next few days and I create that review, I'm curious to see, is there any areas that can stand out beyond the fact it's free to play and kind of has a unique way they're going to fund it. So anyways, I know I rambled a lot in this video. Hopefully I kept your interest, but most of all, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week.